Today I'm interviewing Dave Spatafore, who is a lobbyist.
Why is he called a lobbyist if he doesn't work in a lobby?
Great question, Sadie, great question. And the answer is in a way I do work in a lobby. Not a hotel lobby, not a store lobby, but in the lobby areas of the Utah State Capitol. There are hallways, there are meeting rooms, there are hallways, there are areas outside of where action takes place. That's how lobbyists got our name, is because in the federal level in the U.S. Congress, there are hallways that are essentially lobbies, and so the people who would try to tell their stories in lobbies were called lobbyists.
Oh. So, did you go to university, or what type of degree would I need to have for your job?
Okay, that's a great question. I am a University of Utah graduate, go Utes, and which would make me want to wear a red jacket, but when I went to the University of Utah, I got a degree in political science, a major in political science, and minor in communications. Because at one time I thought I wanted to be a school teacher, because I really love working with kids, and I thought I could be a good school teacher. And so I'm going to give another shameless plug to pay our teachers more so we get good people being teachers. That's the key. But I did political science so I can understand how government works. And I did communication so I could understand what it's like to communicate. How do you communicate? Why it's so important, for example, to look at somebody in the eyes when you talk to them and read their facial expressions. So you don't really need a degree in anything specific to be a lobbyist. You could get that, you could do that generically, like in political science or communication, but you could also do it in specific fields. For example, you may get a degree in science or engineering, and then you could focus on water legislation or electric lines, utilities. So there are different ways that you could get an educational background and still be a good lobbyist.
What type of leadership skills would you need to have for this job?
You need to know how to communicate. You need to know how to verbally communicate. You need to know how to communicate with your face and your hands too, because you just don't want to talk words, because that's kind of boring. You know how to do all phases of communication, and then you need to understand how to research and how to work well with people. So those are all the skills that you need. There are skills that you could learn in class, but there are also skills that you could learn while doing. The last skill you need is to know people and have people know you, and that only comes with experience.
How many hours do you work on average? Would you ever have any time for fun stuff?
That's a great question, and see, in my line of business in Utah, I primarily work with legislators. So I really don't know how many hours per week I work, simply because it's all seasonal. For example, with the legislature beginning the fourth Monday in January, going through the second Thursday in March, during those 7 weeks, I'm probably working 80, 90, 100 hours a week, maybe more. In the time period like now, because even though the legislature's not in session, after our meeting, I'm going to be meeting with one of my clients. Now we're probably looking at the 40 to 50 hour range. But from April to like October, when it's not nearly as time sensitive and not really as intense, then that's when I have time to do fun stuff, because I don't have to work 40 hours a week. So if you average it out throughout the year, I'm probably working 40 to 50 hours a week, but it's all seasonal.
So my mom says it's rude to ask people about money, so instead, let's play a game. How many years did you go to college?
Let's say 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I had your job, could I afford an apartment, a house, a mansion, or a super amazing castle?
If you were really good and had good clients, and you knew how to be a good lobbyist, you could actually live in an amazing castle.
Dazzling diamonds! That's a lot of money. Thank you so much for your time.
It was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, and I wish you well on this endeavor. And let me just tell you a couple of things, because I have 3 daughters of my own. And I told them from the very beginning, you don't have to be lumped into doing what girls typically are lumped into doing. Go get all the education you can, get all the experience you can, and be whatever you want to be. Be whatever you want to be.
We hope we have added one more job to your cool job list. So stay in school, because the sky has no limits when you take charge of your own future.
If you liked this episode, please subscribe. Tune in again to see more jobs, because we'll be busy wiggling and worming our way to find cool jobs so that you can find your dream job.